try to make it new. You can't fight it when it feels so true. You drive me crazy like no one else. The final moment before I lose myself. And it's no use working 9 to 5 if you want more than to stay alive. So come on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light. Oh, so come on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light. Oh, the morning light. Oh, I just wanna be your Superman. Come fly with me, just take my hand.
Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome once again to Just Us Girls. We have a treat for you today. Now, listen, as I always say, get your cat, get the dog, get all the furry friends. Let me tell you, we are in for a wonderful, very informative, very exciting session for you this month. Now, so let me get started. As we know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, all right, as well as domestic violence. However, for the first few weeks, we're going to be talking about breast cancer awareness. So, as I said before, get everyone, bring them in, call a friend, tell them to come on in, because we have some very, and I can't stress it enough, very important information just for you. Ladies, godmothers, all the women, your sisters, your cousin, your Auntie Betty, your cousin Susie, everybody, get everybody, bring them in. Come on. Just Us Girls is on, and we have some good stuff for you. All right. So we have some special guests today. Special. We have Dree. Hey, Dree, how you doing? Welcome back.
Hey.
Welcome. And we also have with us today, we have Corette, my sister, my friend. I love you. We love you. Welcome aboard today, Corette. We love you. And we also have Sherry. Sherry is a special guest as well. And we welcome each and every one of you. And like we always say, hey, girls. Hey, everyone. Okay, so before we get started, again, I encourage you to get your pen, get paper. You're going to take some notes, some very informative notes that we're going to be sharing with you today. So come on now. I mean, I know that, I usually say get the dog and the cat. Yes, you may need them next to you, because we also have, Corette is going to share her story with us today. And Sherry is going to tell us how we can go about and getting ourselves prepared for our mammograms. Okay, once again, the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we're going to get in. Now, before we get started with everything, we have a little video for you to some information to share with you. So sit back, relax, and listen to this video. Take a Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so very much for that very informative, little video. So let's get in, let's dig in. First of all, we're going to have Corette. Corette is going to share her story, and she's going to also introduce herself, and she is going to tell you what it is that she has encountered, how God has blessed her, and the whole nine. So Corette, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it right over to you. Tell us.
Bless you. Hi, everyone. My name is Corette Hill, and I am so thankful to be on here sharing with you. Minister Dornell, you know I love you, love you, love you. We go way back in ministry and more importantly in sisterhood, one that can call on each other when needed. And so I'm so grateful for that. And thank you for the opportunity to share my testimony, because the word says we overcome by what? By the blood and the power of our testimony. So I'm just grateful today to be able to share. Again, my name is Corette. I am a child of God, a servant of God, and I am a wife and a mother. And I would like to call it a Mimi, but others call it a grandmother. But I am just thankful that in spite of all that the enemy tried to do to me, I am able to call myself a grandma, right? I am able to see my grandkids. 2016 was a year that changed my life. September, around, I want to say it's Labor Day weekend, I was getting ready to go hiking with my boys and my husband. And one of the things that you saw in the video is to know your body and kind of check your body and talk to your doctor when you see changes. Very important. I went to put on my bra and I noticed that when I touched underneath my right breast, that it was tender, it was painful, right? I touched and it felt like something was there. Of course, immediately I'm like, never felt that before, and ow, that hurt. And then myths, I've heard some myths that say that if it hurts, it's not cancer. Lies. Let me just put that out there now. So I was thinking to myself, well, it hurts, so that means it's not cancer. But I'll go ahead and get it checked out. So go hiking, not thinking anything about it. I come home meaning to that week, do a call to get my mammogram. Forgot, didn't do it. Following week, I'm just setting up the story of how the Lord was with me the entire time. Following week, I get a letter in the mail. It's time for your mammogram. So I've been going, I'm very good about my mammogram because, I have a high risk history in my family. My aunt had it years before me. My grandmother died of ovarian cancer. So I do get my yearly checkups, right? So anyway, next letter comes and I'm like, okay, let me go get it. Normally you go in, you get your mammogram. They say, okay, you're good, see you next year. This particular time I went in, they asked me to come back. The same day they asked me to wait. They had a doctor on site, and the doctor eventually came and let me know that he didn't like what he saw and that they wanted to immediately do a biopsy that day. He was on site wanting to do it. And so, of course, I was scared, and I knew I had a breast surgeon before because a few years before that, I want to say it was like 2008, I had a lump removed, a small lump removed, and it was not cancerous at the time, but had the potential to become cancerous. So I had it removed. So I had a breast surgeon already. Long story short, I didn't want the doctor to do it that day. I was scared, of course, but I did come and I called my breast surgeon and I did let him know, and went through all that process, had him to go ahead and do what he needed to do to eventually determine that it was indeed breast cancer. And that process, I'm not giving you all the details, but that process went from finding it in September to going in for testing, and then actually being diagnosed in November. Because when you go in, he did not get deep enough into the tissue to take out all enough fluid, because this thing tried to kill me, y'all. It was hidden. Like it was so far back that it was hard for him to get the right amount of fluid to be comfortable enough to diagnose me. Anyway, so, got the diagnosis, which felt like a punch in the gut. I mean, like you hear other people for years. I've been doing the American Cancer Society Making Strides walk in support of, people like my aunt and people that I knew who had it, and my mother-in-law, like in support of others, trying to do good for others. But when the diagnosis comes to you, it hits you right here. It's traumatic. It's unbelievable. It's makes you angry. It makes you, makes you cry. It just, all these emotions that you go through. And you have to actually go through those emotions then to actually pick yourself up and say, now I have to do what I need to do to get this done. And even through all of that, my faith, the people that I surrounded myself with people who were faith-filled and who were not doomsday filled. Very important. And the process was such that, even going through it, I saw the hand of God. And I'm gonna talk about God now. I hope y'all don't mind. I saw the hand of God in every step of the way, even to being prophesied to. Someone who had no idea who I was picked me out of a crowd of thousands to speak to my situation and let me know that it was already all right, that I just had to go through the process. So I had the hope before the healing. Y'all gonna catch that later. I had the hope before the healing. So this here, I'm a thriver for real. I'm a thriver for real. So I went through and, had my surgery. I did not, get any, I had a lumpectomy. It was diagnosed as stage 2B. I had to have the lumpectomy. I have my scar still here. I had to have a port put in because I had to have 8 rounds of chemo. And then following that, I had to have radiation for, I want to say it was 28 rounds of radiation. So, and I would go every single day to get this done. Shout out to my rocking crew at Overlook Medical Center who took really, really good care of me. But it was a grueling process. I prayed, y'all, I was vain. You said keep it real. I was real vain. I had this beautiful hair and I was like, look, Lord, you said you love me. You ain't gonna let me lose this hair. I read somewhere that some people just don't lose their hair. Lord, you're not gonna let me lose my hair now. You see, I was being real vain. I was just asking. But no, I lost that all. I lost all my hair. When I tell you traumatic, it was traumatic. I remember cutting my hair short, anticipating losing my hair because that's what they said would happen. And after my first round of chemo, I was washing my hair because I was like, okay, thank God, nothing happened. And I remember, and my husband can attest to this, he's actually sitting listening to me, washing my hair in the sink. And as I was washing my hair, clumps of hair was falling out. And I screamed and cried, and it was so traumatic for me that my husband, all he could do was take the hair and kind of clean it up and save it. He actually saved it for me, y'all. I didn't even realize it. He saved to show, and he told me the reason he saved it was because it was part of my testimony. So I had this man who was here taking care of me. Don't let me get started here. Through my chemo, through going through, and even in that, I had different things happen to my body. I had a point where my feet, one night I woke up and it felt like my feet were on fire. There was no relief in sight. I prayed. I didn't know what else to do. I tried to put different things on it. My husband was trying to figure it out until finally the Lord gave him wisdom. He had to put my feet in ice. Like I had to have ice. That was the only thing that gave me relief. And it was just the most grueling, just thinking about it just makes me shudder, of the different things that you go through when you're on chemo, when you're going through the treatments. My hands became black, my nails became black, I lost my eyebrows, I lost my eyelashes. Like it was just traumatic. I just keep saying traumatic because it really was. But I have to say, even during that time, if I didn't tell you that I was going through it, you would never know. The Lord covered me, right? That's why I say I have a team that I usually walk with every October in this breast cancer walk. And the team that I formed, the name changed in 2017 to Faith and Grace, because it was through my faith and His grace that I made it through to be able to tell you the story today. And it has made me a stronger person. It has made my family stronger, because of going through that very thing that was sent to kill me, strengthened all of us, those that are around me, those who didn't know and found out when I was on the other end of it. Because one of the things that I had a wonderful intercessor, her name was Sister Faye, God rest her soul. She was like one of the few people who knew and who prayed me through this thing. And one of the things that she told me was, be careful who you let know what you're going through, because not everyone means you well. And so while I kept that thing close to me, those that were praying for me were truly praying for me and truly helped me to bombard heaven, where the Father was probably saying, okay, all right. Okay, she's gonna be all right. I'm gonna take care of her. Okay, all right. But it was a process. And another thing, as I was going through the mindset, having people around you that are going to speak life to you and not tell you what happened to Sally, Joe, and Mo over there, that are going to speak life to you, speak what the word says, and to keep you uplifted when you can't even uplift yourself. That is important, to have people like that around you. It's just so many different facets to my story that I could share. But more importantly, I want to just encourage anyone that might be diagnosed, might be going through, that might think that they're not going to be able to make it. Change your mindset. I say, get your head in the game. When you flip that thing to say, you know what, I shall live and not die to declare the works of the Lord. When you start to, when you speak life, that thing will manifest. That's the most important thing ever. And even though, well, I'm not holy, I'm not into the religion like that or whatever. Okay, then speak positive things. Think positive thoughts. Whatever you do, get your mind in the game and your body will line up, because what happens here manifests in your body, positive or negative. And to add to that, I have to say the stress of life is what I attribute to even causing me to have this disease. This is one of the things that I think, a high stress life, the things that I had gone through in my life, unforgiveness, when you hold on to things that causes, if you think about when you get angry or when you don't, like when you're going through something and you tense up, your body feels what's coming out of your mind, and that thing stays stuck in your body and it manifests as these diseases. I strongly believe that. I had gone through years of stress, whether it's, during childhood, even earlier on in marriage, or, anything, the job, any stressors that we as women keep to ourselves or take responsibility and don't, find an avenue and don't find a way to practice being whole and being healed and being well and really do self-care. I believe that was a huge contributor to me, actually being afflicted by this thing. So I want to also put that warning out there. Women, you can't do it all. Women, don't hold on to pent-up anger. Don't hold on to unforgiveness. Practice self-care. Remove yourself from situations if you have to. Whatever you need to do to protect yourself so that what's happening up here doesn't manifest in here is really, really key. You know, that's one of the things I want folks to understand. You think you first, because if you're not here, who's going to do what you do? Ask yourself that question, right? Who's going to do what you do? So you have to take care of you first before you can take care of anybody else. And is that being selfish? But you'll be here, right? So that's really important. But yeah, it's, you know, it was a journey. There's, like I said, there's a lot of different facets to it. But the one thing I want you to take away from here is really to get your, if you're experiencing something like this, or have been diagnosed, or, you know someone else who you can pass this on to, get your head in the game. The fight starts here. You are never alone. There are tons of resources out there. Overlook Medical Center, that team, I can't speak about them enough. Along with the American Cancer Society, there was just so many resources out there for me as I was going through this, from free massages. When I was going through my infusions at Overlook, they would come around with roses. They brought lunch for my husband, for me as well. But of course, you're going through it, you can't eat, and I've never had the appetite to eat. But they came around with free lunch. They came around with roses. I even got jewelry from a fancy jeweler who partnered with American Cancer Society. I got over $500 worth of makeup when they taught me how to cover up not having eyebrows and not having, you know, the eyelashes. They taught me how to do my makeup to look a little, you know, just to feel better about myself. So many programs that are out there for people that are going through, but that if you don't know, you miss out on. So I want to get that out there to folks, you know, really research and see what's available to you. Don't sit and say, this is happening to me, you know, woe is me, blah, blah, blah. No, find out. Get a support system. There are even support groups at the hospitals, online. You would not believe. Don't think that you can go through that you have to go through this alone. But more importantly, you know, you have your faith. Make sure you believe in something. I know who I believe in, and I'm not going to knock anybody else. Believe in something. If you call it a higher power, so be it. Believe in the higher power. If you call it positive thinking, then do some positive thinking, not knocking anyone. Just make sure you get your head in the game, you know, if you're going through something like this. And you talked about women, you know, get your girlfriend, get your cat, get your dog to listen about this. Let me tell you something. Men can get breast cancer. Our former pastor, well, always my forever pastor, yep. And you're right, Reverend Dr. Ronald B. Christian, he had breast cancer at one point in his life. And so men can get breast cancer too. So if your man in your life is feeling a lump somewhere, let him go get that thing checked out, because there are several survivors that are in my circle that are men. So let's not be ignorant to that too. And men can wear pink too. Mr. Phillip, wear your pink. But let's make sure we get the men that we love, the men that we know. Let's remind them, if they feel anything weird, to go ahead and get checked out. So so much to say, but I don't want to take up all the time. Just want to recap some of my points. Make sure you know your body, right? Make sure you pay attention to your body. Be mindful of the stressors of life. And just be kind to yourself. Self-care is really, really important. Get your checkups. Don't be afraid. Yes, it hurts for a moment to get squeezed, but it's all right, because it'll keep you well. And don't be afraid. If you feel something, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just move out and get it done. And, you know, just trust God in going through what it is that you're going through. Just trust him. He's going to take you through it. Make sure, again, I want to talk about the mind, and getting your mind in the game. Getting your mind in the game. If you're going through this thing, do not feel despair. Do not feel discouraged. You are not alone. There is an entire support group out there. If anybody watching and need to reach out to me, I am here. Listen, I asked the Lord a couple things. If you deliver me from this, I will tell my testimony and I will help somebody else. And so I am available to anyone who needs help with anything. If they need to just talk it through, if they need to just go, find out about some resources. I have some connections at the American Cancer Society that I continue to work with as I'm doing this October in the walk and all of these things. But I am available to anyone who needs a listening ear or just need to know about some resources. So, I hope that helps. That helps someone. My little testimony there. I can go on and on and on and on, but I will not. I will yield the floor.
Correct. Thank you for sharing. Try to make it new. You can't fight it when it feels so true. You drive me crazy like no one else. The final moment before I lose myself. And it's no use working 9 to 5.